Hello everyone and welcome to Golden Nova's First Reacts, where I react first to all the things you want to see reacted to first, as long as I'm the first person you go to when it comes to reacting to things. And boy howdy do we have something to react to. More Blue Eyes nonsense. It is back. We just couldn't stay away, and a new structure deck has heralded potentially a new age of everyone's favorite, Blue-Eyed White Dragon. I don't know if there's any other ones out there like that one. Is there a tier list for that out there? Not like different arts, like literally other Blue Eyes White Dragons. This is our first peek at the new cards we will be seeing out of the new structure deck. Let's take a peek and see what they do to one of the coolest rank 8 strategies out there. That was the first thing that came to mind when I thought about it. It's not remotely the coolest, actually. Galaxy Eyes is way more cooler than Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is... If I'm being honest, Blue Eyes is pretty linear and doesn't do anything interesting aside from summon back more Blue Eyes. So we'll see if that changes that here. We are beginning with Blue Eyes Spirit Ultimate Dragon. 3,500 attack, 4,000 defense, kind of a play on how the Spirit Dragon also has kind of like smaller attack, bigger defense. Requires 2 or more tuners and 1 non-tuner Blue Eyes. Wait a second! They're taking Jack's double... They're doing double tuning here. That's not fair. That's Jack Atlas's thing. 2+ tuners plus 1 non-tuner Blue Eyes monster. You can only use the second and third effect of this card's name once per turn each. First, your opponent cannot banish cards from your graveyard, so they can still do their stuff, but your graveyard is now immune to Called by the Grave and other interruptive effects. When a card or effect is activated on the field as a quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, this card gains 1,000 attack until the end of this turn. Oh, no, it's not reverse stats. It just has 1,000 less for now, because Blue Eyes Ultimate has 4,500 attack. I'm good at remembering these things. Okay, so it's an on-field Omni-Negate. It doesn't hit anywhere else, but on-field you can just say nope. It doesn't destroy the card, but, you know, sometimes negating is more than enough. And lastly, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a light dragon monster from your graveyard, except a copy of this card. So, is the idea here to summon this off of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon? And then, when this destroys itself inevitably, because it destroys the monster at some point, that's why Azure Dragon is kind of important, it floats you back into Spirit Dragon? Does Spirit Dragon's effect activate at any time, or does it have to be a synchro summoned monster? We'll have to check that later. For now, I believe that would be the best way to bring this out. Otherwise, you would have to do, like, what, a Blue Eyes and then 4 levels worth of tuners, and most of our tuners are level 1, so that seems like a bit too much. Next up is Maiden of White, level 1 spellcaster tuner, 0 attack and defense. You can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name once per turn. You can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to place 1 True Light from your hand, deck, or graveyard phase up in your spell and trap zone. That's the Eternal Soul equivalent of for Blue Eyes, if I remember correctly. If you special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Okay, that's a trigger effect, not a you can do it whenever. And when a card or effect is activated that targets this card on the field, or when this card is targeted for an attack, as a quick effect, you can special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon or a level 1 Light Tuner monster from your graveyard. Okay, so kind of just like in remix of Maiden with Eyes of Blue. It's not an Eyes of Blue monster, but then again, I guess I don't know if Eyes of Blue is actually a functional archetype. It's a level 1 light tuner, and that's what a lot of those cards focus around. It's a free tuner to go along with your specifically Blue Eyes White Dragons. Not a Blue Eyes monster. It has to be Blue Eyes, or I guess also Alternative Dragon, because it takes the name when it hits board. So you pitch this for True Light, and it goes face up on the board. So you can use it immediately. We'll have to check to see what True Light does. We'll have to check True Light and Spirit Dragon. Lots of things to consider here. Prayers with Eyes of Blue. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. You can discard 1 card to add a level 1 Light Tuner and or a spell or trap card that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a Blue Eyes White Dragon that you control. Equip 1 Blue Eyes monster from your extra deck to it as an equip spell that gives it 400 attack. Okay. So I don't think the boost is what's important here. The important thing is that you are giving a Blue Eyes monster an equipped card instant Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. I think the 400 attack might be a nod towards the card Tyrant Wing, so you play this, pitch a card, get your tuner or your spell and trap card, and then once you get a Blue Eyes on board, banish it, get the equip, and then you get cards in graveyard that you can use for, like, I don't know, Ultimate Fusion nonsense. So that's not terrible. Okay, Saga of the Blue-Eyed Dragon. Normal spell card. You can only use one of the first and second effect of this card's name per turn and only once per turn. So these are exclusive effects. 1. Special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck, graveyard, or banishment in defense position. But you can only special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon with this effect if you do not control it. Also, you cannot special summon it from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except dragon monsters. So it's got kind of that Eldritch Elixir nonsense going on here. If you don't have Blue Eyes White Dragon, you have to summon it from those zones. If you do control Blue Eyes White Dragon, then you can summon any of the Blue Eyes monsters. So that's nice. While in the graveyard, you can banish this card to fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as material, including a Blue Eyes monster. Okay, so you just get to do a free fusion summon. That's pretty good. It's no ultimate fusion, but very little is. 1 second here. Let's go ahead and that's the wrong one. Let's take a quick peek. Let's take a look at our 2 cards that we were talking about earlier. Spirit Dragon, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. The fact that Ultimate Spirit Dragon has kind of a random effect in there kind of leans into the fact that Spirit Dragon has a random-ish effect that was just meant to counter stuff. Don't know how that affects the meta right now. I guess it hurts opposing Bestial players that want to hurt your graveyard. I don't know, but it's a good protection nonetheless. Once per turn, turn effective a card in the graveyard is activated. Oh, this card covers graveyards. The other one covers field stuff. That's very funny. Okay, you can negate the activation. You can tribute this synchro summon card. Okay, so you can bring back Spirit Dragon when it destroys the Ultimate Dragon during the end phase, but it's not a synchro summoned card, so there's little reason to do that. Let's check True Light. Does it count as a synchro summon? No, we just special summon it. Okay, your opponent cannot target Blue Eyes White Dragon in your monster zone with card effects. Let's get this blown up a little bit, actually. Your opponent cannot target Blue Eyes White Dragons in your monster zone with card effects. If this face-up card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, destroy all monsters that you control. You can only use the following effect of this card once per turn. You can choose the following effect. 1. Special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand or graveyard. Or 2. Set a spell or trap card directly from your deck that specifically lists Blue Eyes White Dragon in its text with a different name from cards that you control and that are in your graveyard. Okay, so functionally, it's not as good as the Dark Magician version, because that one just says Dark Magician can't be affected by your opponent's card effects. This one just gives your specific Blue Eyes White Dragons protection in the targeting zone. In the monster zone, it gives them targeting protection. You get a free Blue Eyes every turn, or you can set one of those spells and traps. So this specifically names Blue Eyes. This specifically names Blue Eyes, so all of those are functional on that one. I guess the question is this worth summoning out with Spirit Dragon if we're only going to keep it around for a little bit? It's not even, like, properly, like, they don't treat it as a synchro summon, so we can't just bring this card out. I suppose what we might end up seeing is a kind of Crimson Dragon line in Blue Eyes, where we try to make another level 12 Dragon Synchro, make Crimson, and then copy this to make another Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Because the non-tuner is Blue Eyes, well, if we use the Crimson Dragon line, I could definitely see a future where this is an option to be played in Centurion. Centurion. I'm just saying Centurion. I think I stumbled over because I tried to commit to the Ion part, and I'm like, nope. But why would they want to run this? Well, it's a negate on board, and I don't think any of the level 12 options they've had so far get to do that, so that's nice. And then it floats into a light dragon monster. They don't have Centurion doesn't have a light dragon. It's got the dark dragon, and I think the original is a light machine. I don't know. Much to think about. It's fine. I don't think this really changes the formula when it comes to Blue Eyes. They have a nifty new synchro monster they get to play with. That's pretty funny. Maiden of White is pretty good. It lets you use True Light more, but, like, we don't have a card that protects True Light. Right? Like, true, if we land Azure Dragon, then it's safe for a little while, but our opponent can just wait to destroy this, or I guess we could get rid of it with something, but... I do like that Tyrant Dragon is easy. The spells I actually think are way better than the monsters that they've introduced in this set. Moby. Once again, Moby showing up whenever I try to record. It gets you the Surge, so it helps boost the consistency of the deck. All the level 1 light tuners, all the Eyes of Blue monsters are fantastic, so that's good. And then it gives you access to Tyrant. Saga... I don't know how I feel about Saga. It gets you Blue Eyes. Like, no matter what, it gets you Blue Eyes. And some of the issues are just that you just don't have Blue Eyes in rotation. So this gets it out there just for free. You might be pushing it a bit, but, you know, it's functionally 3 more copies of Blue Eyes that puts it on the board and doesn't put any other restriction on there except that you're locked into Dragon Extra Deck monsters, but the Extra Deck Dragon options are still really good. So, yeah, middle of the road. Expect the spell cards to do a lot of work. I don't think Ultimate Dragon or the new Maiden. The new Maiden probably does some good stuff. It is a free tuner. I don't think the Synchro Monster is going to be doing much, but these other 3 are actually pretty good. Nice additions. Unfortunately, Galaxy Eyes is still the cooler Light Dragon deck, especially when it comes to anime characters using it. Okay, well, I think Moby has decided that this is over, so let me know what you think down below. Am I vastly off base here? Is Blue Eyes Spirit Ultimate Dragon actually going to save Yu-Gi-Oh! As we know it? Or are we going to have to deal with a wave of people who don't truly understand how Blue Eyes works, and then get really embarrassed when they're in the middle of the games when they found out that they don't know how to synchro summon this card properly because double tuning is kind of weird and spits in the face of just about the entire synchro mechanic as we've understood it. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you next time. Moby, I love you. Stop biting me. Please stop. Mwah. Mwah.